G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag. I'm Jack Dickens, he's Pete Anthinus or Ant Snoozeness. We're going to preview an enormous day's racing, I reckon the biggest and the best day's racing there is in Australia, Peter. Derby Day at Flemington, headquarters.
We're not going to mention the flying bird race up north.
The sex move.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to talk about the spread eagle.
We're not going to talk about the eagle. We're not going to talk about the eagle at all.
I think West won't be best though up there. Very short.
Yeah, it doesn't very short.
So on this show, we're going to try and get through every race, but it probably won't be possible within the time constraints. We're going to probably focus on races 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 and 8. That's the Group 2s and the Group 1s. Of course, every race on this card is a group race. The rail is in the True, Peter.
Yep.
I expect it's going to be pretty fast track, probably a good 3, really.
Yeah.
They might try and make it a good 4, but it's hot and windy. It's a beautiful day down here in Paradise. I expect it's going to be pretty fast racing. There'll be no disadvantage to be on speed, but you'd expect at Flemington every horse just about gets their chance, dependent on tempo.
It should be perfect conditions for high quality racing, premium levels of betting, and my goodness gracious me, how good's the fare going to be late?
Oh, crucial.
Yeah.
We've got a few viewer questions about that, which we'll get to at the end, or maybe in a part 2,
We'll
because
do a
we've had a
part 2,
stack
I
of
think.
viewer questions this week. And we will not be touching on any of the dramas that have been going on in racing on Twitter this week. What a waste of time in non-betting.
I was going to say peak naughty behaviour this
Clickbait
week.
chasing tweets. Just focus on the punt, would you please? God, it's the best day's betting that you'll get. And all we want to talk about is...
But it sells T-shirts or tickets or what do they actually sell these days other than the actual racing product, which is betting?
No, merch. They're still selling Minx merch
really?
week, remember?
Yeah.
You tried to get some.
I did. You know, you just turn it upside down into a W.
I was talking to Abe Simpson, Jonathan Walsh, and he was blowing up the Lux. He wanted to get some Wing stuff. He thought it'd be half price this year, and it wasn't. Crowbar, old Walshy. Very hard to get cash out of that, man. Okay, Pistol.
Yes.
We've talked about the track. We think it's going to be pretty fast, pretty fair. So let's kick into it, yeah?
Yep.
Race 1, the Betfair Stakes over 1,200 metres down the straight. ZOUTORI favourite. We've got the market coming up now.
Yep.
And our speed map will come up after that. Peter, is anything in this race taken your fancy?
There's that one race that I know we've both got a bit of time for. That's VIRIDINE race. Sorry, the trekking race. I'll just
the
go
Scalacci.
The
Scalacci.
So VIRIDINE's the horse that I'm quite interested in terms of coming into this event. It was a really strong close. Wasn't suited as well. I think the horse itself, with Huey Bowman on board, well, he can really sort of just determine where he wants to go. I can't imagine them going too far off to the rail, and so I imagine it should get a nice clear passage and be assaulting the line. Do have plenty of time for ZOUTORI. Has been a previous horse that I've been very keen on, but no, I'm pretty keen to follow that trekking form line.
I think if Malibu Style runs to the outside fence, he's right in this race. He never runs poorly. I think there's a couple here like Longleaf, Travie, my friend, maybe TYZONE even, and KEMALPASA, who I don't think are good enough. TYZONE's the borderline horse for me, where I sort of make the cut-off. I think Renewal could win, and so could Order of Command, but I agree. I think VIRIDINE can get to the outside fence, which I think will be the best place to be, and you can't knock ZOUTORI. I expect when we go to the mounting yard, they'll be the two horses of focus, and we'll try and get rid of one and bet the other. Obviously, we've got a really strong read on how Malibu Style parades, and I'm happy to sort of be with it if it parades well, given it'll sort of be on pace with Deploy.
Tim Clark's a really interesting booking for that horse as well. Looks suitable.
I think it's incredibly suitable.
Yep.
Like really, really suitable. Tim Clark's an outstanding rider of leaders, and
yep.
that's what he's going to be doing here. Race 2, Peter, is the
Wakeful.
The Wakeful, 2,000 metres, 3-year-old fillies. The market will be coming up now. Then our speed map shall follow. What do you want to do here?
Look, I maintain I have to take a set against Flip. I bagged it last time after.
So you're still taking a set against it?
I have to. I think there's enough queries here, and I think there's some really talented horses, some talented 3-year-old fillies that we haven't seen the best of so far, and they just look like they're ready to peak. Yeah. I'm not sure if Flit's going to have another peak run, another grand final left in it. Stepping up in distance, on the puntingform.com.au data. I think there's better horses suited going to the 2000.
The puntingform.com.au feature race reports, which you'll find on the betfair.com.au hub, both of which help us make this show. You'll see the average SP the last 4 years of this race is $5.20, which is a pretty low average SP over the meeting. So that tells me that traditionally the market's pretty spot on here. It's pretty well-known form lines, so it's hard for me to go that harshly against Flit, especially when you consider that over the last 4 years, the average speed to the 600, 10 lengths slow below the all average, which would be a complete and utter walk, which is what Flit's dealt with at all starts this prep. So I don't think that 2,000 metres is a massive concern, because I don't think they're going to go quick here. And if you look at the speed map that we've had up just before, there's not a stack of speed here. I don't think they're going to overly do it. The two horses that stand out to me as potential bets were Vegas Jewel, but I think it's well found and probably too short now. I'm really, really keen here in Miami Bound. It brings the strongest form to this race by a mile. We've got Thought of That and Warning, who I think will fight out the Derby. Ollie on back to mares. I think it ticks all the boxes here. It wants 2,000, probably wants further. He can lob midfield, be there or thereabouts. It's had the run at 2,000. It's just a box ticking. I can't believe it's $7 right now. I expect it starts like closer to 4.
Yep.
Obviously, if it starts closer to 11, I'm probably well wrong and want to get out of my ticket. But yeah, I think Miami Bound's a big bet here each way if you're an each way punter at home.
So I've obviously already had that little bit of grouse there with the Miami Bound. I'll be looking to heavily support Vegas Jewel on the day. I think out of the horses established over the mile or greater, it's got the established turn of foot, and I'm more than happy to launch that horse on the day.
Okay, Peter. Race number 5.
Ooh.
It's loading. That's what it's doing. It's over the mile. The market looks like that, and the speed map, it's busy. It's really, really busy. Now, the average SP of this race the last 4 years, $9.70. The average overall benchmark that's been run to win is only 8.85. And the average speed to the 600, 1.1 lengths above all average benchmark, which is slow for this greater race. What do you make of all that?
This is a cracking race, but I'm not prepared to do anything in it until I get to see Melody Bell. It's a serious New Zealand horse, this one. An absolute jet. It's coming off a 2,000 metre event, now drops back to the mile. Love that. Love it. It's a serious weapon, this animal. So if it parades well, it could just be better than the Australians here. So for me...
It's priced like it's a lot better than a no, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Which form's stronger, New Zealand form or Toorak form?
New Zealand form.
I'm Toorak. I'm Team Toorak all day. Melody Bell, Princess Jenny, AMPHITRITE and Miss Siska all come back to mass grade here. So they're the ones I'm focusing on. Princess Jenny SP'd $7 and was really strong in the Toorak and was almost a barrier trial for it. It's an astute yard, an elite jockey. I think it will go off almost favourite. I reckon they're going to find it big time. Drawn 10 with Ollie. It'll end 1 off the fence, midfield, and get every possible. AMPHITRITE SP'd $17 in the Toorak and wasn't suited. They went up 51s. It was the wrong price and being rightly knocked off. It's back to mares. It's drawn 4. I think it'll lob closer than people think. It could lob closer than people think. I think it's going to get a really economical run and be really, really strong late. Will be suited getting right back to Flemington, the bigger track. I think even a horse like Miss Siska, it'll lead and can give a really good sight. I'm interested to see the sort of training performance Beg can do here. Back to Flemington is a tick. If you forgive its last run, you sort of have it a lot shorter than it currently is. It's currently massive odds. I think Spanish Whisper, drawn 8, Dwayne Dunn now, dry off. I'd be surprised if it's not in the first 4 in run. And I think if it is positively ridden, will give a really, really strong sight. And the other horse that I think is right ready to win in a very nice yard with the Ellerton and Zara boys is Aristia. Gets Craig Williams on. Thanks, Peg. Craig Williams on from barrier 1. Now, that much prefer this horse drew 8 or 10. But from 1, it's going to need a lot of luck. But if it gets it, this horse is ready to let down big time at Flemington. I think it's ready to win. Obviously, it's a deep race. Another horse I really liked is Angelic Ruler. But drawn the car park and the stable, I can only assume encourages the negative tactics that the horse has been given. I expect it to be near last. And do we want to be near last in a massive field here off a really slow early tempo, trying to swoop the bunch of them on a fast, dry Flemington deck? I don't think so. So obviously I've missed a stack of horses here. It's a really deep race. And a lot of them could win. But yeah, focused on AMPHITRITE, Miss Siska, particularly Princess Jenny, and think Aristia's big odds. So
we're talking about the New Zealand form. I reckon if you mention any horse that's come across from NZ,
bro.
Dance. Who else have we seen over here in WA? Rondinella, Consensus, the Bostonian, Androssen, True Excelsior. Like, that's just going back through last preparation. Melody Bell beat all of them over on suitable distances. Could be the best bet on the card for me.
Big call, Peter. Big call. Righto, race 6, the Coolmore, 1,200 metres down the straight. There's the market. The speed map here I thought was a little bit sort of tricky to figure out. And I found the race pretty hard to figure out. The average SP though, which I found fascinating, punters, the average SP the last 4 years, Peter, is north of $10. It's 13.75. The average overall figure is only a 10.7. The average to the 6 is a 4.15, so it's a pretty slow to the 6 figure as well. I think you're forcing it if you have any opinion here outside of maybe Cosmic Force, who's the one outside the market. I think BIVOUAC, Cosmic Force, Exceedance and Libertini well and truly deserve to be at the top of the market. The way we operate, I find myself drawn to Cosmic Force because it's value in this race, but I don't necessarily want to bet at all because I think any of these other horses could just absolutely piss in here. I thought the two outside of the market that represented some value in the race were Rooker and particularly Broadway in 4th. It clocked the last 200 metres of the race at Moonee Valley on the punting form sectional data, which is that of an elite horse.
Yep.
And it did it pretty easily, sort of half ease down, the last sort of 50. If they walk here, which they well could do, it'll be right down the outside in the fat part of the straight. Who knows? And you're probably going to get 50s, 60s on the fair late.
I'm pretty comfortable to have something on Cosmic Force.
That's a deep-seated Scurry connection. That's
exactly. I love it's a classic Rob Scurry setup. Sydney form, found it first up, gets done, had a huge bet on it, gets done by Standout on the line. But the Snowdens are arguably some of the better
they're grand final trainers.
trainers.
But what is other Hawks not grand final trainers? This Exceedance, who gets back and runs on, has a massive stride, will be down the Flemington straight with blinkers on and Dwayne Dunn on.
Yep.
Like, that's a massive tick, 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 tick. Bivouac was not really tested last week in a Group 1. Tick, 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 tick. They all bring an outstanding SP profile. And Libertini's probably gone to the wrong trip. Now it's back to 1,200. Massive SP profile. And Cops Damien Oliver. Drawn 5. Libertini will be smoking the pipe right behind the good speed. Like, if it's whatever speed it is, he'll be right behind it.
It's going to be a fascinating yard race, I think, as well. Just having a look and see what conditions some of these
which we'll talk about in the viewer questions part of the show.
We had a good question about that.
Doing the yard at this time of year is a different beast to doing it 2 months ago. Race 7, Pistol, the Derby, 2,500 metres. The market looks like that, and the speed map looks a little bit like that. I found it pretty tricky to map this race.
Yeah.
But I'm very keen to bet into it at the same time. I think Relucent and Southern Moon are the two outside of the market that can win and will get a really nice run in race. Obviously, Ben Mellon to Billy Egan is a slight negative, but I think Billy Egan on Southern Moon from that barrier can lob midfield, sort of 1-1. And I know the joint's very confident the horse will stay. Relucent has the exact same setup, like training setup as Preferment had.
Yep.
I think we'll get a really, really nice run in there. I think Bowman might get on. Thought of that losers meet against Zara. I am happy about it because I'm against it. I would prefer Tim Clark, who's racing down here, but I think it's a negative. The Meechers are going at rating horses in the lead, and that's what this horse needs to do. It was completely and utterly blessed at Caulfield when it hemorrhaged. And interestingly, punters, it hemorrhaged, and Miami Bound, who's in race 2 back to Phillies, still SP favourite in that race. Yeah. Which makes that thing just an outstanding bet in race 2 for me. I don't think it'll get it as easy here, thought of that. It's obviously got lots of ability, the blinkers that turns it on, blah, 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 blah. Can win, very, very short. Warning SP at roughly the same price as thought of that did at Caulfield, was given, I'd say, top ahead, the worst ride I've seen in recent time in a big race. To ask a horse to accelerate and then to slow down within the last 600 metres of a race, and then it accelerated again and kept finding. I love this horse. I love the way it parades. It's a big beast with a good, like, laddie stayers action.
Am I going to have to do this race for you, just so you don't get too...
I'm already on. I think Warning is a massive, massive bet here. It cops Damien Oliver on. It gets one of the best riders ever on, and loses a rider who doesn't seem to handle the tight turning tracks of Australia. He did ride Warning very well at Flemington start prior. Credit where credit's due, but I just think this sets up outstandingly for Warning. He can lob a little bit more positive in run than he has been the last 2. I think he'll be winning. I think he'll savage the line. I can't wait. I'm really, really excited to see what he does. I think Soul Patch, with the blinkers on, he really, really towed D-Lane. He's probably his last 200 metres was as quick as his 200 metres past the post there at the Valley last week. Stay on the backup's a bit of a tick. And Shadow Hero, drawn 10, I think it'll get back. Rob Scurry has absolutely declared this thing.
He has.
But I'm just happy. I'm happy to be against Shadow Hero. Thought of that in Soul Patch just because they're all around the $3.54 mark, and I'm getting $8, $9 about Warning, and I'll probably chop something out of Southern Moon and Relucent. I know I've gone on a lot here, but the other 2 horses that interest me here are Long Jack and Huntley Castle. Now, Long Jack improved.
Out of sight.
It was an outstanding parade at Geelong, off an awful parade at Flemington.
Yep.
If it parade's outstanding, I'm going to be scared shitless. But I'm happy to sort of oppose both Long Jack and Huntley Castle because they're drawn 16 and 13 and will be back to last. And I think horses like Shadow Hero and Warning will have a better turn of foot.
So I'm just looking purely off the late sections with a few of these horses, just trying to judge who's going to be better suited stepping up to 2,500. And the 2 that I would like to be with, one is Warning, already on. The other horse that I'm very strongly in favour with is Soul Patch.
Okay.
So for me, it's going to be a strong Dutch bet. But having said that, I'm not going to be launching the Soul Patch until I can get the visual in the mounting yard. I really just want.
I think a big positive for Soul Patch is the condition it carried last week.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not over the top. And the blinkers drawn barrier 2, it's going to get a really nice run.
And as you said, just I love horses on the quick backup, 7 days. And for me, just the way that it went through the line past the post, as you alluded to, it just gave every impression that 25 is going to be perfect for it.
What about for the betfair.com.au in-play punters, Pete? What do you do with Long Jack if a parade's outstanding and Willow rolls forward from 16? I think you have to make it a chop.
I would probably go a half chop.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think there's going to be horses just slightly stronger late.
Yep. Oh, fair.
So yeah, pseudo chop.
All right, Pete. Race 7, the Kennedy something, the over a mile again. There's the market. Speed map here was chaotic and incredibly difficult to predict. Hopefully a couple of scratchings come and we can sort of thin it out a little bit. It's very hard not to get a little bit positive about the horses you half like here and put them in the positions you wish they would be in. But yeah, the map is just chaos. The average SP the last 4 years of this race is $12. The average overall benchmark recorded to win this race over the last 4 years is 14.5.
It's a proper race.
And to the 600 metres is 9.75, which is fast. This is a proper race. This is a good race. I could go on like I did in the previous about a lot of horses here, but I'm pretty keen to bet. I think Night to Watch is an outstanding bet at $7. I think it'll start closer to $5 or $4.50 each way all day. Drawn 9, gets Ollie on, missed the start and then had no luck in the good race, the 2-rack I think. I'm very happy with Ollie on. I'm very happy with Drawn 9. I think just as long as he jumps well, he can be in a really handy position and just have to wait for the gaps to come. I think the one that's big odds in the race is 50 Stars. Drawn 3, Mark Zara. I think it's going to get run a race almost. Comes from the really strong Epsom or whichever that good mile race is in Sydney. It's got the figures to compete here. I think Fierce Impact will be 3 or 4 wide again and will require an absolute peach from Willow. The list goes on. Sosi Bond, hard not to like, but then the gate, you can get rid of it. Cliff's Edge is flying. Chief Ironside, I think, will get a similar run to last week, but probably not as good. But yeah, I'm massively team Night's Watch here, and I will be winning on 50 Stars. Peter, you?
It's a nightmare, basically.
Yeah, but you're getting $7 a field, so
yeah,
it's a betting race.
It's a nightmare you can jump into. Well, obviously, already had that bit on Night's Watch, because if you don't follow up and you've been on the last, 2 starts or so.
We backed it last time.
Yeah. Look, I'd be cheering for variation to get a start. I would have loved to have seen that horse go around in this, but I'm not sure they're going to have 3 scratchings to get them in their favour. Look, for me, it's probably coming down to the main horse of interest is actually Royal Meeting.
Yeah, not fair.
But again, probably like a slight concern on that. But I think
like
Dunn's going to be suitable.
It'd be pretty arrogant for anyone to sort of say that can't win or this can't win. I'm just trying to tip you into something we've half found.
Yeah. But look, that's probably the horse.
Where'd you map Royal Meeting?
In great difficulty early, potentially, but
I sort of thought it might land sort of 3 wide cast. It's drawn 16, it's got good speed, but there's horses like Streets of Avalon, Cliff's Edge, Iconoclasm, I think they'll sort of fight out the lead. And then there is potential for something to sort of be positive. Chief Ironside cops Stephen Basta though.
Yeah.
So I don't know what'll happen there.
There might be enough early speed that they just string out a little bit.
Yeah, so he can roll across, and there's not a lot, like there's speed in the first bunch, but then there's not much after that, so he might be able to slot into that 1-1 spot.
And just looking at some of the horses drawn inside it, so obviously Streets of Avalon from 10s going across, but then you've got horses like Sikandrabad, Noir, who else we got in between?
I can't see him being positive from 13 on Noir. It's just not.
No, exactly. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that
yeah.
there'll be Streets of Avalon going forward. Can almost just tow across with it and just take your time, slot in somewhere. So there's a few other horses there that I don't think will be positive. Rock's another one that's not going to be rolling forward. So I think there is the opportunity there that the field will string out.
I think Star of the Seas will run a good race, but I think it's just probably a little bit too well found early.
Yep.
But drawn 5, it's going to be there or thereabouts in the right sort of spot, you'd think. It's a race where I've cut it up via the map.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, not map race.
All right, Pistol. Best bets, value bets on the card.
Melody Bell for me, best of the day.
And which races have we missed, actually? I quickly...
We haven't touched on 3, 4 and 9.
So in race 3, I thought Dalasan probably winning. I think it's an SP sort of profile bet. Groundswell ticks all boxes, but just the SP profile versus Dalasan, I think you have to be with Dalasan. Airborne is scratched on some devices and not scratched on dynamic odds. If it runs, I'll probably be with it to run at the top of them both. Race 4, we'll just leave race 4 alone with all this Melbourne Cup drama and horses getting scratched for having thin bones or whatever it is. I don't know who's going to be in it. I want to be with Youngstar, but I think it's not going to run now. If the chosen one runs, I think you have to be with it. And then in race 9, it's a great race, a big race. I thought Tofane looked likely, Pippi looks very likely, Resin will improve, but I thought Demerara at $13 was a really nice value play each way. Let's get to our best bets. Yours is Melody Bell, the Kiwi. My best bet, race 7, number 4, Warning. Race 8, number 8, Night to Watch. Race 2, number 2, Miami Bound. And race 7, number 7, Princess Jenny. Value bets on the card for me, got 3. Peter. Very keen. Race 5, number 5, Amphitrite. Race 8, number 3, 50 Stars. And race 9, number 6, Demerara. Anything else we should do? That'll do us for the preview part of the show. We can get to the viewer questions in part 2.
Let's knock it up.
Let's make sure that we've got 2 sets of eyes on ponies for you this week. 2 sets. That's 4 eyeballs on ponies.
Yep.
Delivered to you via app. You'll get Friday night at the Valley. You get Derby Day. You get Melbourne Cup Day. You get Oaks Day. You get Stakes Day, whatever it's called. You also get the Spread Eagled from up in Sydney all day, every race from Scurry. You get 4 eyes on the ponies in Melbourne. Two eyes in Sydney. You can just use that information to overlay with your stuff and have a bet. But if you don't want to do that, you want everything done for you, we also provide accountable unit betting advice. Head to the website, get involved. You can also check out all our results there.